Our headlines for Heat 2A as we're about ready to run it live. Will they be ready? Boats need fixing. And how about his final race? Nate Brown in the red dot. He's getting ready to go as well. Also, Ken Muscatel, the doctor, ran fast yesterday. What about today? Heat 2A coming up live as we speak.
Heat 2A of the Chevy Cup at Seafair is brought to you by Gelwood Windows and Doors. Reliability for real life. And is presented for Seafair by 76 Quality Pro Clean Gasoline.
Here's the lineup for Heat 2A. The Tri-Arc Electric is not going to get off the trailer, still repairing it. But Red Dot, ProCraft Windows, Lake Ridge Paving, and MirageBoats.com all set to go racing here in 2A. As you see, just a shade under 2 minutes. The boats are out there scoring up on an overcast morning, but we expect sunshine, and here are your drivers. Chris Bertram didn't finish after the flip yesterday. He's not going to run except perhaps in the consolation race. Nate Brown with the red dot. His final race today as a driver. The ProCraft Electric. Ken Muscatel, the doctor, at the controls. He will be looking for any kind of win today. It'll be his first ever. Lake Ridge Paving, David Williams, the museum runner, the museum operator, and finally, Greg Hopp in the Mirage boats. As we come out again to live racing, we're set to go as they get ready to score up. And the man who has been a legend here, Pat O'Day, talking about the fast qualifying.
Well, the Jack in the Box congratulates Nate Brown, who built the boat himself, took it out of the box and qualified at 142.227. He's the fastest qualifier for Heat 2A, and for the best in fast food anytime, stop by your nearest Jack in the Box.
And now to the best play-by-play in the business for the last 20 years for the unlimited hydroplanes here on Lake Washington. Here is Mike Fitzsimmons.
Thank you, Patrick O'Day. And this boat, the Red Dot, is a nice, strong running boat. He's had a couple of quick laps to warm up out here, and the boat looks almost like a seasoned competitor. It's only in its second heat of racing. This gentleman here, Dr. Ken Muscatel, who is creeping around the race course right now trying to get a established lane, had one of his best heats of racing yesterday. I think that he may have a trick or two up his sleeve. The inside's going to go to the 100 boat, the dark blue boat, and to Greg Hopp. Next to him, it looks like Dr. Ken Muscatel is going to take the middle lane, and on the outside, Nate Brown is going to come down here. 8 seconds now left on the clock. The drivers start to throttle up. They're a little bit concerned about jumping the gun. They're a little close. Let's see what happens here. Looks like we're all right, and it was a perfect start for Dr. Ken Muscatel, who leads them down into the first corner now from the middle lane. And Chip, that was a good start.
For Ken Muscatel, it was an excellent start. This guy in the last 2 days has shown more driving ability than I've seen in his entire career.
And Ken Muscatel will lead him off the exit pin on the lower corner with a couple of guys, one on the left, one on the right, creeping up on him, back about 5 boat lengths now. But Ken Muscatel is seeing boats in the mirrors for the first time in a heat of racing out here on Lake Washington in a long time, rather than looking up ahead to see who's there. This turn will make a big difference, though, because Nate Brown is really pouring on the coals as he comes around wide on the outside. He's staying out of trouble that way and coming inside tight. That is, of course, Greg Hopp in the blue boat. And both of them slipped by Dr. Ken Muscatel right there.
Nate Brown is doing a job in a boat that he really knows nothing about. This boat has only had 1 heat of racing, so every time he goes into the corner, he's kind of guessing what's it going to do. But he's driving it like he's been in it for years.
And as you see him start to tighten up on that corner now, he's leaving the lane for Dr. Muscatel, but he's obviously beginning to trust this race boat, even though it's only in its second heat of racing. He's beginning to get a feel for the boat, and as he does so, he will perhaps be a little more bold.
2 drivers did a very good job. He pinched Ken Muscatel very, very tight, right on the verge of being illegal, and Ken did a great job by sticking that boat in that really tiny, narrow lane.
It did cost Muscatel a long distance, however. Now the battle is a deck-on-deck in the second lap between the 100 boat, the Mirage boats, and also Nate Brown.
At the end of 2 laps, how can you ask for a better heat of racing than between Nate Brown and Greg Hopp right now?
You can't. This is a great race. There you see them side by side. Inside boat is the blue one, the MirageBoats.com, with Greg Hopp at the wheel. And outside, getting tested now a little bit. That would be Nate Brown in that red dot. And this particular time, Chip, he's having to decide whether or not he really wants to push it.
Well, the first thing we're seeing is Ken Muscatel, I think, spun the boat out up in the north corner. But I tell you what, Nate Brown gets excited about nothing. Imagine how excited he's going to be about finishing second in this brand new boat.
He's thinking second, you know, in the event we can cause any kind of a little problem out there, just soon take first. But right at the moment, it looks like there's not enough real estate left on the race course for that, and he's going to settle happily for second place. This is a good finish also for the Leland team, this MirageBoats.com, in its second race of the season, and Greg Hopp gets the checkered flag right behind him, the red dot and Nate Brown.
No wonder Greg pulled away from him. He turned that last lap at 141 miles an hour.
He's got some speed. Not a bit surprised that he did that. This is one of the fastest of the Leland boats, and Greg Hopp knows how to drive it. He's got a lot of time in this particular boat, but a nice finish also for the 17 team, for the Red Dot folks and Nate Brown.
Let's explain how these boats get to the winner-take-all final. You need to gather points in all these elimination heats, and the boats with the most points make the final. Greg Hopp did not have an exceptional day yesterday, so finishing first today gives him a lot of points to help him towards that final. He needed that heat win.
If you don't get enough points and you might wind up in a consolation race or provisional, you get to be the trailer boat, and it's real tough to win from there. Well, we got some smoke coming out of the rear end of the Procraft Windows boat there, and that's an attempt to restart. It looks like he tried at one point to try to go back and pick up apparently a buoy that he missed, but now Dr. Muscatel is having a little trouble getting restarted.
As we go through the day, there's two kinds of smoke. There's white smoke and dark smoke. If it's white smoke, that can usually mean just water has hit the hot engine or the hot exhaust pipe, and that's just steam. If you see smoke that's got some color to it, if it's brown, if it's got some green tint to it, that's a little more serious.
Yeah, that's restart blue smoke we're seeing right there, and he's trying to spool it, but he's having a bit of a difficulty doing that. He has an opportunity to finish if he can fire up and get around the buoy mist and come on down and finish his lap, but it's looking less and less likely that Muscatel is going to be able to do that.
Two great drivers battled it out there. Greg Hopp from a great racing family. His father was Jerry Hopp, who drove an Unlimited, and Nate Brown, who's been around the sport for so long. In the boat he built himself in his final day of racing. A very significant heat and a tight race.
Indeed, and Chip, I think that Nate is learning some things about that boat very rapidly. Of course, he says he's going to retire, and that's going to be the end of it after today's racing, but he seemed to have a lot of confidence in what he was racing with.
Well, two things. I think he's a liar. I think we're gonna see Nate drive some more, especially when he's driving a brand new boat that obviously is performing this well, Steve.
And you know, the other thing too, guys, is those two drivers got out there and actually got to mix it up a little bit, Nate Brown and Greg Hopp. But how tough is it? I mean, the attrition is really starting to take hold. Chris Bertram, they're trying to rebuild the boat, never got on the course. Dave Williams, the curator of the race museum, really wants to get out here and race today. He couldn't get things going, couldn't get away from the dock, and then of course Ken Muscatel spins, hooks the buoy, and he's still sitting out there in the water. So attrition is going to build throughout the course of this day.
Well, the adage in racing is to first win, you first have to finish. But before that, before you can finish, you have to start. So when you see something like Dave Williams not get off the dock, that's just heartbreaking. These are all volunteer guys that have been away from their families, have given everything they had to make a boat like the Lake Ridge Paving Run. And when it doesn't, it literally breaks their hearts.
And this guy's going to be busy today because he's in both the lights as well as the Unlimited. Greg Hopp, your unofficial winner today, down to guard with your driver.
Hey, Greg, nice ride. You talk about a guy coming out of the blocks real quick. First heat on Sunday, and you guys grab it.
Well, I'm telling you, we went out this morning. We had some motor issues yesterday that we didn't even know about. Put a new bullet in for today, and this one runs a lot better. So, yeah, I'm glad to take the win from MirageBoats.com and for the team. I mean, it's been a long time coming, so glad to get it for the team. Hopefully we can rally, and that should hopefully get us close to the final.
Now, I heard you weren't real happy about yesterday. You ran a little bit slow. You put the new engine in. You put the new gearbox in. During testing today, you go 5 miles an hour faster, and it showed today.
Yeah, it definitely showed. I think we were geared wrong, and we had a motor issue, so this one seems to be running a lot better. I say we stick with this bullet.
Well, good luck the rest of the day.
All right, thanks.
All right, Steve.